Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. This is evening for me because I'm tuning in from Edinburgh. This is actually coming from Edinburgh, as mentioned. I'm here to play tonight, Enlisted. You might have not heard of it before. I certainly hadn't before last night, but it's a game that I came across last night from a channel, Resonance. I'm not sure if any of you have watched that channel before, but I watch his content on Mount and Blade Bannerlord quite a lot. Um, Really good medieval COD equivalent sort of game if you've never heard of a game such as that before. But I'd really highly recommend checking the Mount and Blade series in general if you do get a chance. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to play Enlisted tonight, and this is here a World War II free-to-play squad-based FPS game. And I think that's really interesting, despite the fact that we do have World War II FPS games in abundance these days. I'm going to refer to quite a lot Battlefield 5 and Red Orchestra tonight in tonight's kind of video, but I think this game has a couple of features which set it maybe a little bit distinctly apart from those games in particular, just because of the way that it's been done in terms of gameplay. So you see that the game at the moment it's been out since early 2021, so about a year and a half or so. I came across it tonight for the first time. I played a few games, but I'm by no means an experienced player. But you can see that it's got a couple of game modes, or not a couple, just one. I guess I wouldn't qualify practice and tutorials as game modes. But you've got the squad game mode and some custom matches. I've not tried anything of the custom matches. I'd assume there's more custom game modes available within those, but that's a whole new can of worms. But for tonight, I'm going to be playing the squad mode just to kind of give you a walkthrough of what that looks like, and just to show off this kind of squad mechanic as well that I think really sets this game apart. So what I've got here is 4 separate squads, each consisting of 4 to 5 different troopers. Now, these aren't real players as such, but more AI troopers that I would then lead and control into battle. In terms of control, the sort of controls that I've got are maybe a bit more basic than a full-fledged RTS game, for example, obviously, but it's just sort of basic controls like hold this position, stay here, hang about here, shoot at that guy, capture that point. Fairly basic and intuitive. When it comes to how it works in practice, a little bit mixed impressions. The AI tends to stand about quite a lot. But on the other hand, for me as a new player, it just means it makes it that much easier for me to shoot at AI from other teams and enemy players that I can kind of get a hold of. Because when I started this game, and to be honest, even now, I am still no good at this game, and I've got a lot of catching up to do when it comes to skill building. But when it comes to each individual trooper within each squad, you've got the capability of customizing weaponry, perks, sidearms, equipment of each trooper, and you've really got quite a lot of control over how customized your squad is, what kind of equipment they're taking into battle, what kind of makeup you want to have here, within certain parameters. So for example, I've got here a squad of airborne. I've also got a tanker squad as well, so obviously the customization will be slightly different now that I've got a vehicle to operate in the case of this squad. It's less troopers as well within the squad. I've got a sharpshooter squad as well, and a rifle squad as well. So 4 slightly different squads in terms of their purpose, their makeup, and their expertise, you could say. But within each squad, I've got the ability to do so much customization. You can see that I've unlocked perks over my first few games for some of these squad members. So minus 10% of speed for decreasing of the shot spread after quick turning, minus 50% effective head shaking caused by nearby explosions. That's a big one because explosions really do hit you quite hard. But things like that which just enhance your squad's ability to cope in battle, and I think it's really useful that because it really does make you feel like you're going through that experience of going from recruit to experienced veteran, and it does add that kind of element of sophistication to the game. But without further ado, I'll get into the game. I'll join the queue. Game found already. The queue finding is the game finding is pretty quick in this game. It really doesn't take long at all. I think the longest I've had to wait is something like 20 seconds for a game. Goes to show how popular the game is even a year and a half after launch, so they're probably doing pretty well for themselves. I should mention as well the developers that made this game are the same ones that made War Thunder. It's not a game that I've personally played an awful lot. I did play it back in high school with friends every now and then, but I do have World of Tanks on Switch, World of Tanks Blitz I think it's called, on the Switch, which is a pretty good game and a great way to play it. But not had much experience with War Thunder, but I do think you see that influence from that game in just the way that the UI looks, the color schemes. I think you do see those influences come through from the other game that developers made as well. But in any case, that's a little fun fact for you. So we're into the game now. I've got my squad here. We're already being shot at, and that's a good way to visualize the one-shot kill mechanic in this game. Quite similar to Red Orchestra, or instead of Red Orchestra, I should mention Rising Storm. That's the name of the game that I play. It is a variant of Red Orchestra. Okay, we're already under fire. Quite brutal though, in the sense that your game could be over just like that, like mine clearly is. Half my squad's dead as well already. You can tell I'm pretty terrible at keeping my squad together in one place. But let's just head around this way. I'm gonna head for my team. I've not been very good at kind of keeping my team. I tend to adopt a run and gun approach. This is just my kind of filthy casual style gameplay from Call of Duty and Battlefield, which are games I play more often. Even in Red Orchestra, I'm really no good when it comes to this sort of stuff. But I will try. So I've never played this map before either, so it's quite an interesting one. But I really think when it comes to this game, the graphical quality is really half decent. I've got it in minimum settings. My PC's a bit of a potato when it comes to recording stuff, so I kind of had to keep it down a little bit. But I think despite that, it looks alright. Oh, I've actually got a kill. And I got another one as well, actually. I hit that guy too, I think. But you can see I've gone 2 squads down already. I can't use the tank squad. I'm assuming there's a tank player on board in the team already. You can have up to 2 tanks on the field at one time. But I think in terms of graphical quality though, this game looks fairly decent for what it is, especially considering it's coming from an independent developer. I can't say Battlefield's a very fair comparison to make here, given that it's coming from a AAA developer, but certainly compared to Rising Storm / Red Orchestra, it's a much better looking game, I think. I think maybe it's just the colours that bring it to life. For example, the fire effects there, they look much better. It just looks a bit less drab, to be honest, than Red Orchestra does. Honestly, it might be on purpose with Red Orchestra, given that it's, at least from what I've played, it's primarily based in the Eastern Front. I do know there's some Pacific maps there too, but yeah, it just looks a bit more vibrant. Okay, that's our own tank. I kind of shot myself there for a moment, thinking that was an enemy tank. I don't know what killed me there. Explosion pack. When it comes to tanks in this game, they're quite an interesting one because of the fact that you don't have a third-person view with tanks, so you can only view the tank from the crew's perspective from the inside, which I think makes it quite difficult to maintain that control and oversight of the tank, and maintain that awareness of what's going on around you. I certainly found it quite difficult to adjust to that, just because of the fact that there is no third-person perspective, and that's quite a unique aspect of this game as opposed to other games. Great chance to show you now, because I should be able to actually spawn in now with a tank. We'll see how long I last. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So you've got... I can take a slightly wider view as a commander from outside the tank, but what this does mean, and there's a caveat here, is that means I'm keeping my head above the hatch here, which makes me pretty vulnerable to some of the gunfire that you've seen my squads being subject to just earlier in this game. So you do have to be careful not to keep your head up for too long. But I quite like the American tanks. This is the M5 Stuart, or the M5A1 I think it is. And tanks are not this fast. I should caveat that they're really not this fast. Usually they're dead slow, even the armoured cars. But for some reason this one is pretty fast. And it is always nice when you get to a viewpoint like this where you've got a couple of enemy players in your sight as well. I should mention as well... Oh. Right. I've actually killed someone. That's actually... I did not expect that at all. Ah, sheesh. just gonna go for it. I just tensed up for a moment there because I've not actually. This is maybe only the second occurrence I've ever had of like tank to tank combat. Oh, someone else might have gone. Yeah, I'm doing a terrible job here of mowing these guys down. Yep, there's a guy on top of me. What is happening? Okay, so I thought that was someone from our team, to be honest. Like I genuinely forgot what team I was on for a second because I saw the grey uniform and I thought, is that one of our guys, or like am I just being messed with here? And I was definitely being messed with. So the problem when tanks get destroyed is that you can't repair them from the inside. You've got to get out of the tank to repair it. And again, really interesting element. Battlefield 5, if you want to repair a tank, just hold down X for like 5 seconds, self-repair. There you go. Here you kind of got to get out and expose yourself to the elements really to get that tank repaired, which makes it that much tougher to manage the tank, to be honest. So you've got to be quite careful about how you what kind of situations you maneuver yourself into, how you use the tank, how best you place yourself to face the enemy, and to kind of provide support to those in your team as well. And I think that's how tanks are used best within this game, is infantry support vehicles as opposed to run and gun machines as they can be. Having said that though, I was playing a game yesterday on the Stalingrad campaign. Just gonna appreciate that there. I definitely don't appreciate that. But I was playing a game on the... I'm gonna get out of the way here. I was playing a game on the Stalingrad campaign yesterday, and in which I was the only tank player. There were no enemy tankers, and I don't know whether it's just a team being incompetent or... my whole squad side. I don't know if this is a team being incompetent or just there not being many anti-tank options at the time. But what it did mean was that while a lot of the fighting in that map is very urban based, it's very building to building as opposed to open field, a bit like this map. I was still given quite a lot of free reign to kind of drive around, machine gun people down, shoot into buildings. I didn't really have much opposition. There was not, I certainly wasn't getting any opposition from the players playing as ground troops. And it was just super fun like that. And I know that obviously not every game's gonna be like that, but yeah, I think that's really the peak of tank play in this game. It's like, what was that? Oh, okay, that's what it was. I could have sworn I headshotted that guy, but my squad's still alive. Apparently. Yeah, so another feature of this game as well is that you're quite vulnerable to explosions. This is definitely a unique aspect. Oh, I might die here. But this is definitely a quite unique aspect to this game, in that in Battlefield, for example, in Red Orchestra you can definitely get you get that kind of blurry vision and whatnot from explosions taking place nearby you, but you don't really get affected in terms of health and HP by those explosions nearby. It's only if something kind of hits either right beside you or in that very kind of small ring of proximity that you actually get affected by an explosion. Here it's different in the sense that shrapnel from explosions can seemingly hit you, or at least from a longer distance. Like if this crater was the explosion and I was standing here, I would still feel the impact of that. And I think that's one of those more atmospheric elements of this game, which does make it that much more brutal, but also more realistic. I'd say, like, I'm not sure whether this game leans explicitly towards that side of realism or not, given the first-person tank view, the one-shot kills, the deadly explosions. I'm not sure if it necessarily leans completely in that direction of realism. I certainly think, for example, the aesthetic and the color scheme here, it's really nice, very vibrant, but it does make it look a bit arcadey as well, which kind of contrasts against that otherwise somewhat realistic vibe that you get from it. But I'm not complaining. I quite like this color scheme. I definitely prefer it to the kind of drab colors going on with Red Orchestra. Battlefield's maybe got better colors, but that's a AAA game, so I wouldn't necessarily compare it. It's not a fair comparison. I quite appreciate that kill. It was a moving target. Whenever I get a moving target, I always get so satisfied. But I think the color scheme here works well. I think the graphics look decent for what they are. The sound effects, I think the sound effects are absolutely fantastic in this game. I've turned down the volume for this video just because they're a bit overwhelming, to be honest, and it makes it really difficult for me to speak over. But honestly, like things like, for example, things as nuanced as the whoosh of bombs kind of flying by, kind of just about to hit the ground beside you. That sounds like that. Gives me flashbacks to when I watched All Quiet in the Western Front. I felt like poor Franz there, who got fried alive by a French flamethrower. Brilliant movie, by the way, if you watch it. Not quite in line of what the book originally set out, but I think they took their take on it was still, I think, good nonetheless. It achieved the theme of the horror and futility of war. Side topic there, but goodness me, look at the number of destroy tanks here. This is not usually the case. Usually, you do not normally have this many destroy tanks, especially in one place. Like it just, I can't tell if like everyone's just gone to this one place or it's one guy trying over and over again as many times as he gets the chance. But yeah, this usually happens when you've got someone on the other team who's either really good with their anti-tank grenades. So assault squads, like this one, they'll have explosive packs, which are basically just C4. Basically, you have people who are quite good at using that because it's just about the only tool that infantry have to fight tanks. Or you'll have other tank players who are pretty decent themselves. I think in this case, what's happened is there's people quite effectively using explosive packs, but I'm quite glad in this game that you don't have aircraft, because sometimes you do get that. And a bit like Battlefield, a really good aircraft player can completely break the game. I was playing a game yesterday on the Normandy campaign, and it was based in a French town, and it was just constant bombardment by like this one player. He just kept strafing his aircraft, and it was chaos. Like you couldn't get by 5 seconds without bombs dropping somewhere, and I couldn't hear anything. It was just all explosions. You couldn't move out. You couldn't, exit a building because you were getting strafed. It just makes it really difficult, especially for a newer, less experienced, less skilled, to be honest, player like myself, to get by and to kind of get out there in front of people. Although getting in front of people isn't in my best interest, as that kind of just showed there. But there's clearly a guy there. I'm just gonna do what I usually do and have a go at him, which obviously didn't work. That worked somehow. Honestly, I barely saw him when I just took the shot. I like to go for headshots. It's kind of how I like to play usually. Whether I get them or not, though, that's another matter. I find that aiming in this game is quite difficult because you can see the iron sights are quite tiny. Can't really see much. And yeah, so I'm a bit too far away from my squad. I told them to hold fast somewhere, but what's obviously happened is that I've strayed too far from them, and as a result, the game has cancelled any orders that I gave them, so they kind of follow me around. I tend to try and leave them places instead of kind of walk around with them behind me, just because of how bad they are at taking cover, and how often they die. Like, for example, I've got one squad mate left, I think. Yep, I've got one left. Or two left? One left. Yeah, they don't tend to last very long, because of the one-shot kill mechanic and their just lack of ability to hide. And explosions, yep, those two. But the AI in this game could use a bit of improvement, but oh dear, that's what it was. Yeah, I've not made a good showing there at all. So I'll go to Sniper Squad just to show you what that's like as well. I wouldn't really call it a Sniper Squad as such. It's just really one sniper with okay, this one isn't a Sniper Squad, but usually what it would be is one sharpshooter with 3 regular riflemen with bolt action rifles. So not exactly a Sniper Squad, but closest thing we've got, really. So looks like my team's quite spread out in this one. So I'm gonna head over. Okay. Carrying that machine gun post. Yep. See, it's really difficult with the iron sight to kind of get that accuracy down. I do really like bolt action rifles, though. I love this kind of one-shot kill mechanic that they have. Yeah, they all died. It might be... No, it's not going to be this guy who's got the sniper rifle. No, it's not. But I mean, it'd be a good map, I think, this one, to have that squad in. I just usually don't use them because they're not... Yeah, they're just not my favourite. I'm a bit too gung-ho for sniper rifles. But, oh, you can see my frame rate's beginning to tank a little bit because of the explosions. But, no, I really do like the sound effects, the visual effects as well, actually. I think the flames, like the flaming and the smoking, it looks pretty good for what it is. Like, I've got it on minimum settings this game. Like, it's the second lowest preset for this game, graphics-wise. But I think it looks fantastic, really, for what it is. It certainly doesn't compare to, I'd say, Battlefield, but, it blows Red Rockstar out of the water, really. Okay, so I'm gonna hang back here and see if I can catch one of these guys. Okay, let's see if I can catch that guy. I got him. I just aimed and shot. That's what I love about bolt action rifles, is that you can just kind of aim and shoot. Don't have to worry too much about taking a second. But the other side of that as well is that you get shot as well, so works out both ways. But no, that's the game really, and I think yeah, this is tragic. This is absolutely tragic. Look at this. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, but it generally runs quite well as well. So I know it's maybe tanking a little bit just due to the explosions on my PC, but my PC's pretty old. So I'm using a GTX 780 Ti, which, in case any of you haven't heard of that, it's a 9-year-old GPU, so pretty out of date. But does the job for me just fine. So that's why I've got it. And have I got an explosive pack? No, I don't. I'll just chuck a grenade at this guy and hope that does something. That's all I've got. I mean, he obviously took some reaction to it, but I don't know why I'm going up to this guy. I don't really know what that's achieving. So I'm gonna order these guys to hold here. They're not gonna really take cover. You just see that they kind of stand about. Like, this guy's up here. As if that actually achieves anything, as you can tell. But it's probably the AI, but I think, like, this is an early access game. So I would give it that benefit of the doubt that, you know, it's going to improve over time. It doesn't always do early access, but I do believe that in this case the developers will do that. I was gonna melee, but I don't know how to melee. So I just figured out how to melee, but it's a bit too late maybe. Yeah, I've not quite like mastered the controls, especially when it comes to ordering around your squad. Pressing K, for example, while using WASD, it's quite difficult, I think. At least I don't have the dexterity for it. But you know, some practice you can maybe make it work. But is that an empty tank? I think it is an empty tank, but other thing about this game as well is that well, it's not an empty tank, but anyway, I might as well say that you can only actually enter tanks as a crewman if you spawned as a tank crew. Another interesting aspect of this game. I think that's it certainly does add to that feeling of authenticity, as opposed to, again, Battlefield, where your medic, your support player, your sniper, whoever can jump into a tank, no problem, and they can pretty much man the whole thing. Here you definitely do need more than one person, and they need to be a tank crew specifically to get the most out of those vehicles. I'd assume the same applies for aircraft, though I've not actually unlocked aircraft yet, so bloody hell, wow. So yeah, I'd assume that's the case as well. So I'm gonna order these guys to stick around here again. Probably gonna get myself killed again. Oh sheesh. defeat. That's horrific. Yeah, I don't know that we did all that well. Although to be honest, I wasn't really keeping track of the game all that effectively. So yeah, I might have just yeah, that's might be partially my fault. Although to be fair, I wasn't right at the bottom, so it could have been much worse. I think so. I think in that regards, that's a win for me. Um, 9 out of 12. Sure, it's not 12. So for a start, I'll take it. But no medals. It's okay. But you can see here that I have got some rewards. So these you get these bronze and silver cards that you can then use to unlock and enlist new soldiers, as well as unlock new equipment potentially for soldiers as well. I've not been able to buy equipment so far, but I have been able to enlist new soldiers. You can see that so some of my soldiers, they've leveled up individually as well. So beyond just the customizability that you have for each soldier within your squads, you've got that ability to level up, to unlock new perks, to improve their abilities as they fight in more battles, which I think is a really nice touch to this game. It just gives it that feeling of, you're moving from recruit to hardened veteran after a few not after a few games, but after many games of experience in this. And you can sort of see that progression happen with the soldiers that you're using to fight with as well. I'm not gonna lie, he looks kind of Japanese to me. I hope I'm not being super racist with that one, but like maybe it's just a hat, like the Imperial Japanese army cap that they wear. But he looks a little bit not so American to me. But side comment there. But no, in any case, I think the progression aspect of this game, it does add another layer to it as well. The squad aspect certainly adds another layer. Just the level of depth it can go into when it comes to tailoring your squad to your preference. I think there's things though like clothing, equipment. You can't necessarily customize that here, which I think is maybe a missed opportunity for cosmetics. I'm never an advocate for microtransactions, but for that kind of stuff as well. Like you might get in Battlefield 5, for example, but I can kind of get it from the point of view of authenticity being the end goal here. My only question is whether that is their intended end goal, or whether they might move away from that going forward. I hope they don't, though. I think the balance that they've got here is it's good. It's good. I think it's enough to set it apart from Red Orchestra, which I think is probably the most similar game to this. And certainly from Battlefield and COD, it's a completely different kind of world from that when you can consider the kind of nature of these games. But no, I hope that was enjoyable kind of to watch, even in its potato mode that I had it on visually. But you can see that I've earned rewards as well from this. There's a battle pass on offer as well that I don't quite have. I'm maybe a bit too poor for that. But I've got my platoons from Allies and Axis. I can customize those to my liking. And actually, the squads that are on offer, they differ by the campaign that you select. So if I were to select the Pacific War, I now have two different factions. I've got the Allies again, obviously, but the Allies in the context of the Pacific. So you can see that there's a slightly different look here. And the Axis as well. So you've got the Japanese army here as well. Those were the caps I was talking about. I thought I could have sworn that the picture in that I was referring to earlier looked a bit like that. But yeah, slightly racist remarks aside. But no, so you've got these 6 different campaigns on offer, which is absolutely brilliant. You've got different maps as well available within each campaign. So personally, I've been playing the Normandy one the most, which has at least 5 maps. I played at least 5 in this. Tunisia as well. Couple of maps on that side as well. So you've potentially got you've got dozens of maps here to choose from across these campaigns, and quite a wide variety of theatres from the Second World War to pick from as well. I find it interesting that they picked the Battle of Stalingrad and the Battle of Moscow as 2 separate theatres of war. I would have liked to see that them both kind of put into an Operation Barbarossa sort of theme, broadly speaking. But I think the variety on offer, even just a year and a half after launch, is fantastic. I wonder in terms of game modes if they're looking to add more beyond the squad game mode, kind of in terms of listings and categories, and in terms of customization of soldiers as well, whether equipment customization and clothing customization is on the way as well. I wonder many things, but these are the things that I wonder most. But no, I hope that's been really enjoyable to you all. Um, Again, this has been Enlisted from the early access game, as I think it is still in early access. Free to play though, so please definitely do give it a try. And I hope you've enjoyed this kind of walkthrough of it. If you'd like to see more of it, let me know. I'll probably be revisiting this just to improve my skills. But I hope that's been brilliant. So have a great evening, afternoon, morning, whatever it is for you tonight, and I will see you later. Bye everyone.